I hope I can't quite see what I can't see in the front there, I think. And I actually wish I could be there with you in person. You know, I mean it. You know, and by the way, again, to ad-lib a second here, you know, you're also, what people don't realize, you're the same folks who are there holding the boot in the corner to raise money for the people who just lost their home. Not a joke. That's what you do. That's what you do. You're the ones who line the Little League fields. You're the one, you're just, anyway, you're an incredible group of individuals. You know, in Delaware. Do they have chairs?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you all sit down? The reason I said that, I once said, I want everybody to sit down. There were no chairs. I never heard from the press. So I just want to make sure you had chairs.
Internally, and if you have any concerns about their warning that, you know, the worst is yet to come.
So I've said this before, and I'll say this again. You know, the president has a message for the American people, and he wants them to know the following. Because of Americans' resilience and the economic strategy we pursued from day one in this administration with his economic policy, the United States of America is in a stronger position than any other country to navigate what we're seeing currently. Look, jobs are up, incomes are up, people are back to work.
He is eager to talk about his accomplishments on a trip like this one where he is going all the way to the West Coast. Would there have been deliberations over why not go to a state like Arizona or Nevada to talk about those accomplishments?
He's going to go to California, he's going to go to Colorado, he's going to go to Oregon to talk about those accomplishments. There'll be many more trips. Very, very mindful of what I say here at the podium as well.
He's not welcome on the trail, correct, Kareem?
Oh, look, you know, the president has made, as far as his economic policy, he's made lowering costs for the American people, bringing the inflation down. We know that there's more work to do, but we have seen some important progress for the American people. A couple of things that I lay out. We've seen real disposable income and real consumer spending both increase in part thanks to the strength of our job market. Gas prices are down over $1 per gallon.
It's just wrong. It's simply wrong. But between Merkley and that other guy I just talked about in the Senate, look, in 1922, the price for one blood pressure drug that millions of Medicare patients, beneficiaries rely on, went up by 500%. 500%. Another drug used to treat autoimmune conditions increased by $1,000 this year. $1,000. Those of you on it, you'll know what I'm telling you is to be true. It's outrageous. But this year, the American people want their cost of a family, and inflation for the family is reduced. It goes on. The same way with what's in the Inflation Reduction Act has to do with your ability to be able to get tax credits for buying, if you need a new coffee machine, a new washer, a new refrigerator, you buy an efficient refrigerator, efficient coffee machine, you get a tax credit for it. Costs you less money. Just every time I'd walk out of my grandpa's house, I'd say, Joey, go out, and he says, spread the faith. And my grandma would say, no, Joey. No, Joey. Holler. Holler. Not just keep the faith, to spread it. Folks, that's one thing you don't have to tell me. You met my wife? I married up. I was one of those guys that my whole life I've been surrounded by women who've taken care of me. Maybe they're smarter than I am. My younger sister used to be 3 years younger than me. Now she's 23 years younger. There's not a single solitary Biden man that is younger than any Biden woman. And my wife, by the way, at a community college, my wife is teaching today. My wife is a full-time college professor at a community college. And yesterday, we announced that Social Security benefits are going to be going up an average of $140 a month starting next month. And folks, look, seniors are going to get ahead of inflation next year. For the first time in 10 years, their Social Security checks are going to go up. But look, here's the bottom line, and please hear this. When it actually comes time to do something about inflation around the kitchen table, Republicans in Congress said no. If they take control, They've said their first aim is to get rid of the Inflation Reduction Act, and inflation is going to go up, not down. You know, when you sit at that kitchen table I told you about paying your bills, and folks, I know the names of these pieces of legislation are just boring, but the Inflation Reduction Act. And earlier this week, we announced that Social Security benefits are going to go up an average of $140 a month beginning now, starting next year. Seniors are going to be ahead of inflation next year. For the first time in 10 years, Social Security checks are going to go up. And here's the bottom line. So please hear this. When it actually comes time to do something about inflation around the kitchen table, Republicans in Congress are saying no. If Republicans take control, the prices are going to go up, as will inflation. It's this simple. Sadly, that Inflation Reduction Act did a lot of things. It had like just a short amount of money, $368 billion for the climate, which is, it did a whole range of things. Representative Maxine Waters, whatever Maxine says, I agree with. And today, I'm announcing the Social Security benefits are going to go up by an average of $140 a month, even as Medicare premiums go down. So folks, seniors are going to get ahead of inflation next year. For the first time in 10 years, if Republican wins, inflation is going to get worse. It's that simple. And today's report shows, though, some progress. Overall, inflation was 2% over the last 3 months. That's down from 11% over the prior 3 months. That's progress, but a lot of it is a result of getting the cost of living at the gas pump down by more, not even in California now, by more than $1 nationally. You've been great stewards of these sacred lands, but I just want you to know, the reason why he's an environmentalist, he married one, otherwise he'd sleep alone. So I just want you to know that. Until I understood the breathtaking nature of it, to stand there on the edge of a cliff in the Rio Grande, to, you know, looking at one thing, and it's just, there's not many cliffs, but then head up to the Grand Canyon. It's a cathedral. It takes your breath away. I grew up in Claymont, Delaware, and I went to a little school called Holy Rosary Grade School across from the Claymont Fire Hall, and all my buddies, either became a firefighter, a cop, or a priest. I wasn't qualified for any of them, so here I am. But, you know, it's truly amazing that I was doing Meet the Press, and lightning struck in a little pond behind my house, came up through the ground into the air conditioning system, ended up generating thick black smoke, literally that of those proportions. And from the basement to the third floor, the attic, everything was ruined. And the kitchen floor, we almost lost a couple firefighters, they tell me, because the kitchen floor was the burning between the beams in the house, in addition to almost collapsed into the basement.